US Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice has told Kenya's political leaders that they must reach an agreement on power sharing as quickly as possible. She was in Nairobi meeting both sides in the dispute over December's election results, which led to the outbreak of serious violence across Kenya and hundreds of deaths.
Condoleezza Rice arrived in Nairobi with some tough talking to do, and after a friendly wave to the cameras, she almost certainly delivered a few stern words to President Mwai Kibaki. He has agreed in principle to forming a coalition government with the opposition, but negotiations on exactly how that might work seem to have stalled. Behind the smiles, this is a tense diplomatic visit. Condoleezza Rice has been accused by some Kenyan politicians of trying to force through a solution to the current crisis, something she denies.
This is not a matter of dictating a solution to Kenyans. But what I hear is the impatience and the insistence of Kenyans that this be resolved.
That's a point she'll have made to the opposition leader Raila Odinga. He too has agreed to the concept of sharing power with President Kibaki, but the two men are in a deadlock over the details. The pressure is growing on them, though, from the international community to find a way forward, and fast. The violence that broke out after December's disputed elections may have abated, but tensions are still very close to the surface. Political progress is seen as the only way to really repair the damage. Jane Haddon, BBC News.
Well, President Bush is also in Africa. He was just across the Kenyan border in Tanzania, highlighting a $1 billion effort to eradicate malaria. It includes giving enough mosquito netting to protect every young child on the continent of Africa, all part of a 6-day trip through the 5 African nations in which the president is promising to improve the dire health conditions. The BBC's Laura Trevelyan is on the trip and filed this report.
George Bush's enthusiastic welcome in Africa continues. In this hospital, he kept up his tight focus on the way US cash is helping the continent. 3 years ago, America promised to spend $1.2 billion in 15 countries to halve deaths from malaria by 2010. This simple idea is the centerpiece: mosquito nets to catch the carriers of the killer disease, and insecticide.
The suffering caused by malaria is needless, and every death caused by malaria is unacceptable.
The President and Laura Bush toured this factory where the mosquito nets are made. 5 million of these will be given to Tanzanian children. So is the policy working? It is, if Zanzibar's anything to go by. By using these nets, malaria has been virtually eradicated there. Crowds are lining the streets to greet the president here, some of them even carrying Obama signs. His popularity is in sharp contrast to his standing at home. But then he has come here bearing gifts, like money to educate these girls, who might otherwise be forced to leave school and marry, investment for Tanzania, cash to fight AIDS, all underlining his humanitarian legacy.
From here it's on to Rwanda, scene of the genocide in 1994, yet now a nation sending peacekeepers into Darfur. President Bush's message there is one of hope, how good can come out of trauma. For many on the continent, the recent tribal violence in Kenya was a reminder of what happened in Rwanda. Laura Trevelyan, BBC News, Tanzania.